Hello, this is Kathryn Troutman. I'm president of the Resume Place in Baltimore, Maryland, and this is a webinar today for veterans, or actually for anyone who is wanting to write a corporate America job. And I created a curriculum called 10 Steps to a Federal Job, and I was thinking, looking for a private sector job is so similar to a federal job. I should create a second short curriculum and talk about how it takes 10 steps for corporate America too, because the job search for corporate America is really complicated, almost as bad as federal. So I thought I'll create this curriculum. So this curriculum was inspired by Pedro. For real. I was coaching with him to find a federal job. And he had to stay in Orlando because he'd just come back from overseas for a long time. And he wanted to stay in Orlando for sure. And I looked on USA Jobs, and this is what I found. No jobs found in Orlando for federal employees because he was a veteran. And so I said, well, what are we going to do then? I think we better give up on federal because there's nothing there right now, and you need to stay there and help your family. So I asked him this question. I said, do you know of 3 companies that you'd like to work for in Orlando where you can use your skills, which are aviation and logistics? I was shocked at him being gone for so long, and he knew exactly 3 names of companies that he could work for. So we began the private sector job search, and on February in 2014, he wrote this little note here saying that he was hired and that he had started the search in November of 2013. That is not bad. November to February is really good. So we just gave up on federal because there was nothing to apply for and went corporate. And these days now, when I quote for a federal resume, I also talk about private sector resumes as well, because it's just kind of dangerous to just sit and wait for federal because you just can't tell what's going to happen with it. So there are so many veterans that are competing for the same positions. The veterans have their preferences, which are great. But then when there's so many of them, pretty soon the veterans' preference becomes a huge number in the pool of veterans. So that's why, you have to do it all in this job market. And so I started thinking about this list, the top 100 military-friendly corporations. And I thought, well, gee, this is a great database to use as a kickoff point, just like USA Jobs is a consolidation of all the government agencies, like 200 of them. And so I thought, well, let's just use this basis of really good companies who say they are military friendly to begin the job search. So that's what we're going to do in a minute is look at this website. So, but even no matter what, the resume is the key to everything when you're searching for a federal job or a corporate America job. And that sentence right there, your resume must match a target announcement, is true no matter where you're going to be applying for a job. And this is one of the things that is not happening when veterans and everybody is looking for a job, is they're not taking it seriously that the resume has to match. So the steps that I'm going to cover are similar to what I teach with my federal job search. First, you have to focus. I was just doing a review for a client, and he sent me his resume and his objective sheet, and he said, I'm looking for a position in logistics, human resources, supply chain, or contract specialist. So I wrote back and I said, we can work on your resume for one of those areas of specialization. Which one do you feel is the best and the strongest for your background? And he wrote back and he said, logistics. And I said, perfect. That's what we're going to do. Don't give me a laundry list. I'm not taking it. You must focus your job search. Number 2, networking. Oh, man, I'm talking about LinkedIn like crazy. If you are in the job market, unless you are in intelligence, you've got to have LinkedIn. Step number 3 is to write up some accomplishments to help your resume to stand out. And 4 is to go find an announcement that looks good to you, make a list of the key words, and then write the resume with the keywords. Step 7 is to conquer the online questionnaires, which are everywhere. I mean, people complain about USA Jobs and their questionnaires. Well, get ready. These questionnaires are out there. They're using them to screen out people and to basically give you a test. So the world of job applications is really complicated. Then you have to apply for the job, and that probably means setting up a username password everywhere. And then you have to, I should say, attempt to follow up. With private sector, it's more of an attempt. And then interviewing is to prepare for the interview. So the 10 steps for corporate are really just like federal. So step number 1 is go to the military-friendly list and look at the companies, look at the jobs, look at the descriptions, try to figure out what company and mission you might like to be part of, and you know, just begin your research, basically. We're working with a lot of veterans now who are being really good and proactive, and they're coming to us like 6 months before they're going out, or more, 8 months. And you know, with federal, you can't apply until you're 3 months out, but still, getting your resume done and getting your plan of action together 6 or 8 months out is completely smart if you definitely want to have a new job when you're beginning your next life. So we're going to look at this website in a second. Number 2 is networking. I would like for you to have a LinkedIn account. You could definitely link with me. Mine is up there. You can. This is a sample. I'll type his name, Emmanuel Willis. I put him up. He's one of my samples from my book, so you could look at that one to get some ideas for LinkedIn. 94% of corporate America employers are looking at LinkedIn. 94%. Okay, so now I'm going to ask you a question, and you can say yes or no. Do you have an up-to-date LinkedIn account posted and ready to go? You do? No, I don't. Yes, yes, no. Yes, with exclamation point. Yes. Oh, not updated. Well, you have to do that. Yes. Okay, we're pretty good. Well, just trust me. If you're going to go private sector, if you don't have LinkedIn, you really actually don't look good at all. It looks like you're not in touch with today's world of marketing. So I'm telling you, it definitely has to be done. And it needs to look good too. Oh, and while I'm on it, LinkedIn, you have to make sure you have your entire resume in there. Don't make your LinkedIn like really short and sweet. No, it needs to be the complete resume with your areas of expertise. I guess I should teach a webinar on that. I don't have one. I'll think about it. Okay, step number 3, find and write your accomplishments. I was just finished coaching somebody who had 3 accomplishments in his resume. It was a first run. We're going to work with him. And they were 3 great accomplishments. One of them had to do with Libya, another one from Japan, and another one from Hurricane Sandy. He was with logistics and ships. He had all 3 of those accomplishments mentioned in one sentence. No, really. So what we did when I talked to him a few minutes ago is we took each one of those 3 stories and we broke them out into what happened, what did you do, what was the challenge, what were your results. We really spelled out the stories so that we could really talk about them in detail. So that's one of the things people do very wrong with their private sector resumes, is that they make their accomplishments really, really short. And you need to make them a little bit longer. This is an example of a resume that features accomplishments and specifics and numbers. And I remember talking to this guy who actually wrote this resume. I questioned this first sentence up here. This was his line. He said over 15 months, logistical move of 55,000 people and all these towns. And I said, what in the world did you do this? And he said, it was the surge. And I said, oh, right. So we added during the surge. That's massive. And that's true. He did that. So this is very good logistical accomplishment resume, or section of a resume, very detailed and specific. And that's what a lot of people don't do, is they don't add numbers, just very generic words without specifics. And, you know, that's how you get a resume thrown in the no pile, is by not telling a real story. So now this is my favorite part of the webinar and of my steps. So here is a sample excerpt from a job announcement. And this is for a telecom position, network project manager. And the duties are here, just like you're going to find in the announcements. And what I did was I put in red the words that were going to be very important to make sure you match in your resume. So you need to have cross-functional teams for projects. You are going to monitor projects from initiation to delivery. You're going to be responsible for assembling project teams, communicating with project leaders, and again, that word functional, area manager for everything. The word projects, functional, cross-functional teams, they're like in there 3 times in one paragraph. And that's a big tip on keywords. If a word is repeated multiple times, then that means a word that they would like to see in your resume. So here we are. This is the list of keywords. These are the words that are repeated and are critical for the job. And this is what you need to do next time you find a job announcement that looks nice to you. Make a list of those words and just, have it in a short list. So now here's my resume for my client. And he was a watch officer, telecom, and E6. And this is the description of his job in the military, I think in the Navy. And he says that he ensures mandatory communications link between units at sea, operational representative of the CO, TCNF, operations, 3 divisions, tactical, strategic. So far, I don't see the key words. Let's look at them again. Functional area manager, cross-functional teams, diverse problems, tactical circuits. I do see manage 15 tactical circuits. There, I got that one. Diverse problems, I don't see that, but you got problems in that job. Cross-functional teams, functional area, cross-functional teams. No mention of cross-functional teams, but clearly if he provides tactical and strategic support, that's a lot of multinational forces, that would include cross-functional teams. So would you like to see what the resume should look like with the keywords? You have to say yes or no in the box. I'm making sure you're watching. Yes, please, right. Okay, I'll show you. Here it is. Look at that. Do you recognize those words? The red words are the key words. Now, with a federal resume, we put these words in all caps, but with private sector, we keep them with a bullet and one-liners. There they are. This is the same person. Over here, it's a bunch of acronyms, very DOD, and now we have the emphasis is on where you're trying to go, not where you've been. So we start out with functional area manager for technical communications. That's totally true. We aren't even exaggerating. Managing cross-functional teams through NATO, Africa. Manage tactical circuits, voice, for sure. Diverse problems, absolutely. During the time he was there was a lot going on in NATO. Assemble and direct project teams. Is this beautiful or what? It is so cool. So there's our words again. So if you were to work with me on your resume, what I would do, you would send me your vacancy announcement and your resume, and the first thing I do is analyze the announcement for keywords because, that's what we have to do is get the keywords. So I make a list like this. I copy and paste the list into the resume, and then it's kind of like a puzzle. I try to match these words with that. So I would go back to the client and say, well, I'm pretty sure you actually do this work. I'm pretty sure it looks to me like this is good for you, but I do not see a good match of the keywords. I don't see hardly anything that matches. So what you need to do is take these words and give me some sentences and descriptions of your work so that we can write this resume and you will be successful at getting picked up for interviews or for, getting the resume on the desk of the supervisor. And here's another reason why this is so clearly important. I lucked out and met the Sprint chief human officer at a conference that I went to, and I was asking him about keywords and artificial intelligence searches and stuff, and I said, at Sprint, do you use artificial intelligence for keywords to screen out your top level candidates for any one announcement that you post? What do you think he said? Do they use keywords or not? Yes or no? Does Sprint use keyword system to find top candidates? Yes, all the time. Yes. You're good. Yes, true. They do. He said that if the candidates come into Sprint, if they do not have the keywords in the announcement, their resume will never come to the top. They will never be met, ever. So this little webinar I'm teaching now is just terribly important for corporate America. Now, USA Jobs unbelievably does not use an artificial intelligence system with keywords. USA Jobs is human people looking at resumes with their eyes. Very unusual for the #1 employer in the U.S. except for Walmart. They read them, and I can't understand it, and I can't believe it, but it's true. But all the other major corporations, which I'm talking about here today in this little webinar, use artificial intelligence. So this lesson right here is probably the most important of my points in this little webinar. So again, here is the list. There's the announcement with the keywords all throughout. Make a short list. Compare that list to your resume. Add the keywords and add language that makes it all true and unique, and you have your resume. And that's how you do it. And you would need to match at least your last job, maybe job number 2. But after the first couple jobs, you don't really have to kill yourself, because private sector people look at like the last 5 years of your experience. So, you know, if you're finishing a 20-year career in the military or even 30 years, please don't give it a thought that you have to match the whole thing. Jobs 1 and 2 are what you need to match, even job 1. And then after that, just keep it short and sweet, and they're not going to read it. So matching the resume needs to come from 2 job blocks, and then the rest can be just as relevant as possible and edited, and go from there. So this is an announcement here for aviation technician. This is in Point Mugu. And the keywords here, now look, short and sweet, resolve technical problems. See that word problem? Oh, look, in the second line it says resolve technical problems again. Okay. If you don't have in your resume resolve technical problems in your resume, that would be a search term. Technical problems is probably a search term. Avionics systems is also a search term. Communication systems, maybe, probably. I don't know about the rest of them. They're kind of technical. Aviation systems, so far that's been in here 4 times in 3 lines. Wire connector repair. I don't know if that's a keyword or not. Rotary wing experience preferred, so that would not be a keyword because they just have preferred. Required to become a plane captain, so that wouldn't be a keyword. So resolve technical problems again, avionics systems, and problem solving. Those probably would be the words that they would use for the first cut. So everyone can do this. You just have to look at each sentence, come up with a couple of phrases out of each sentence, make a list of them, and you're ready to go. So step number 6 is also applying online. And I don't know if you've seen this or not, but you know, every major employer has their own online application system where you have to set up a username password. And you can't just send your resume by email and a cover letter with attachments. It just isn't happening. So just keep track of your username passwords and your accounts that you've set up. Keep a spreadsheet and just go forward. And I know this is true too because I coach, I have this guy that works for me here in my office who isn't really good with computers. So I've applied for jobs for him with PetSmart, Northrop Grumman, and the Horseshoe Casino. And all 3 of them had online applications, username, password, and the whole thing. So, you know, just be patient. And then there are these questionnaires. Like the government has those questionnaires, which is an application test. Believe me, these questionnaires are alive and well out there in corporate America. So just, you know, just stay calm and be patient, have a cup of coffee or tea or something next to you, and just get through it and answer the questions the very best that you can, because they're going to be screening you out, trying to get rid of you. And they're going to throw ringers at you, and believe me, they're doing it to screen you out. Give yourself all the credit that you can, just like you do with the federal application. And then, of course, apply. And if you're looking for a job for real, 2 to 5 jobs a week is what you need to apply. I had a lady call me who said she's just really in trouble and can't pay her bills and all kinds of bad things. And I said, well, have you been applying for jobs a lot and nothing's happening? She says, no, I haven't applied for a year. Well, that's great. Oh, no, 2 to 5 times a week and do it right. And it's a very big deal. And be very persevering. No shortcuts, that's for sure. Follow up if you can. You know, a lot of private sector organizations, you can't follow up like you do with government. You can, but just keep a spreadsheet of all your applications and dates and resumes, and try to track your results, and keep a document folder with your resumes. This is a full-blown campaign, so you really have to be organized with it to make it happen. And, you know, you can't hire anybody to do this for you. So this is like, if you don't do this, who's going to do it? No one. So, you know, this sheet right here is very important that you manage your campaign correctly, because if you want to get another good job and keep a good quality of life, you're going to do what's on this page. Okay, step number 10 is the same as what I teach every day with federal. It's a behavior-based interview format. It is a test. It is an oral examination. And you have to be prepared when you go in there to talk about your past achievements, your accomplishments. And I recommend that you practice for the interview. And I have a couple of leads here. Nick Corgadillis is an expert in interviews and preparing for jobs. And this is a link to one of his PBS things that he did. And then TJ Walker is actually my coach. That's me standing there with TJ. And he puts up videos every single day. He is the most prolific video person I know, and he does little 3-minute videos. You can get on his mailing list if you want, and or sign up for some training with him, because he's a very good presentation speaker and expert. But the video is good there for free. So those are my tips for the 10 steps. So now let's go here to the 2016 Military Friendly Employers, which is sponsored by militaryfriendly.com. And I love this. It's awesome. Let's see if it's linked to the website. No, it's not. It's not linked to the website. It's just linked to another page. So if you want to go to a particular company, you have to go find their website and go to it separately. That's fine, I guess. They're not trying to take you to their website. So all of these are the top 100 military-friendly companies. So you could look through the list and decide which ones you'd like to look at in terms of jobs. So I did go to one. I went to USAA to search for jobs, because they really are everywhere, that's for sure. And they've got career areas right here. And you might be interested in one of these career areas or not. And then these are the descriptions of the jobs. And that, you know, that's pretty good. Let's look at IT. And then let's go down to search for jobs in IT. And see if we can find a real job. And I want to see what their duties and responsibilities look like. Okay, real jobs, okay. Browse jobs at USAA. So here is a database administration job. Let's do this one, technical quality assurance. Okay, QA engineer automation. Okay. Okay, look at that. So the keywords are in here. So the purpose of the job, let's look at the job duties. Let me make it bigger, wait a minute. Independently install, customize, integrate commercial software. All right, well, that's definitely very important. And then we have another problem-solving situation. Root cause analysis, team members, cause analysis. You see that 2 times? cause analysis of issues, 2 times they have that. Documentation playbooks, improve system performance, create documentation. They say that 2 times already. System documentation playbooks is in there 2 times now. You better have that in there. That's probably a key word. Reviewer, contributor to requirements. Requirements is in here 100 times, so for sure you're going to add that. Team members is here multiple times. You're going to be a mentor. That's good. That's always good. You can put that in every resume. Team members. Okay. So we have, I think, install, customize, integrate, commercial. This is very important. And most IT people who have done this work have done this. Facilitate root cause analysis would be another bullet. Working with team members on problem solving, coding, documentation, creating, writing, documentation playbooks, systems improvement. You know, you can write your resume straight off the announcements. If you just slow down, take a minute, read the announcement. You have to read it line by line. I'm sorry, but if you want a really good job, that's what you're going to do, because basically you're pitching yourself as the person who can do this job, and you can't just do it with one resume for all applications, because it's just too many people in the job market. Oh, I like this line. This position, it will be part of the QA team doing automation, risk analysis, and test scenarios. So keywords here, automation, data analysis, and test scenarios. Automation testing. Yep, those are keywords. So that's how you find the keywords, is just go around looking for them and look for announcements. You can't write a good resume unless you have a target announcement in front of you. N-O. You can't. Don't even start. Just wait until you find an announcement, and you might be really sad if you can't, apply for that job, but, you got to start somewhere. Search jobs. Let's look at that button. Wow. Search by state, by list. It's a big deal, isn't it? Looking for a job. The list is coming up. Must be huge. USAA would be a really good company to work for. It's huge. There'd be training, support if you needed it. Let's see if there's a logistics job. Let's do logistics. Nah, well, they're not in the logistics business. They're insurance. So how many of you have ever looked at this website? Can you say yes or no that you've looked at the top 100 friendly website? No. No. Yes. Yes. No. No. Yes. Yep. No. Also looked at the GI job top 100. Yeah, that would be good too. Right. Well, I think it's a good way to start looking, narrow it down instead of just going to Indeed.com and typing in logistics. Indeed is a very big website, very well known. It's a consolidator of all employers who are hiring, but it's just so huge that, you just kind of get lost in it, and I think it's overwhelming. I just think it's too big. I really like the idea of choosing a company for a mission. Like, I like CSX because it's transportation, the trains, and, they've got a great mission. CACI is all government contract. If you don't want to do government contract, you don't want to go there. Union Pacific, again, is transportation. A lot of transportation on here, a lot of government contractor. And then you've got your, transportation, corporate, Bank of America's finance. I don't know what G4S is, never heard of it. So why don't you choose by company and then make your resume really good and try to get with one of the top 100 companies instead of, just a small company in your local town. Walmart made it. Look at that. PwC, State Farm. So my little webinar today was about how to apply for a job in corporate America, and how the job search for a private sector job is really quite like applying for a job with a federal position, and that's what I teach all the time, is federal. So I hope that you learned a lot from this program today, and that you will take this really seriously, that you need to have your resume targeted each time. Here at the Resume Place, we do write private sector resumes. We review them. We write cover letters. Oh, let me show you one more thing. that I have a cover letter builder on my website right here. And if you wanted to write a cover letter that would be very good for private sector, you could use this. This is free and easy to use, and it prompts you right through all of the information that you would need to add to your resume. So thank you very much for attending, and I am going to post this up on my website. I'll show you right where I'm going to post it. Look at right here. Veterans is going to be right there on this page, top link. So if you'd like to watch this again later, you're welcome to do that and look at those keyword pages to help you with your keywords. And then if you want help with your resume down the line, please let me know. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. And if you need help with your resume, we're here. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.